What is going on, YouTube? My name is Nick, and welcome to episode 23 of the Good Schmidt podcast. In this episode, I will be recapping Super Bowl 55, and I will be discussing a couple of huge trades that have gone down recently in the NFL. So let's start with Super Bowl 55, which went down a couple weeks ago. Or 2 or 3 weeks ago. I know I'm delayed with my recap, but anyways, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers throttled the Kansas City Chiefs in their home stadium, Raymond James Stadium, 31-9 to win their second Super Bowl. And Tom Brady was able to capture his 7th Super Bowl ring, more than any other team, and Rob Gronkowski won his 4th Super Bowl. Throughout this game, the Buccaneers defense dominated from the get-go. Mahomes is just running for his life. The Chiefs were actually down a couple of offensive linemen in this game because of COVID. That really didn't help. And Tom Brady just did his thing in this game. So let's look at the stats here. For the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes was 26 for 44 passing for 270 yards, no touchdowns and 2 INTs. And he was dealing with a foot injury, I believe, which, yeah, that definitely did hamper his performance, but some of his incompletions were some of the best I've ever seen. So even when Patrick Mahomes isn't at his best, he is still impressive. Rushing for the Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire led the way with 9 carries for 64 yards, averaging 7.1 yards per carry. Too bad the Chiefs were down the whole game. Would have liked to see him carry the ball more. Receiving, Travis Kelce had 10 catches on 15 targets for 133 yards. Tyreek Hill had 7 receptions on 10 targets for 73 yards. Defensively, Damian Williams had 6 tackles to lead the Chiefs, and 1 tackle for loss. Frank Clark had a sack and 2 TFLs, and Anthony Hitchens had a pass deflection. Kicking, Harrison Butker was 3 for 3 on his field goals with a long of 52. For the Super Bowl champion Bucs, Tom Brady was 21 of 29, passing for 201 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Leonard Fournette pounded the rock 16 times for 89 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 5.6 yards a carry. Receiving-wise, guess who led the way? Gronk and AB, man. This is like a cheesy Madden team. Gronkowski had 6 receptions for 67 yards, 2 touchdowns on 7 targets. And then Antonio Brown had 5 receptions for 22 yards, 1 touchdown on 6 targets. That defense, like I've been alluding to, absolutely dominated. Devin White led the way in tackles with 8, and he had 2 TFLs. Devin White also had a pick and a pass deflection. And then Antoine Winfield Jr. had an interception and 2 pass deflections. Kicking, Ryan Zuckoff made a 52-yard field goal, and he hit on all 4 of his extra points. So once again, congrats to the Buccaneers. The biggest takeaway in this Super Bowl was their defense, which was dominant, like I've said at least 3 times. And a lot of that credit should go to their defensive coordinator, Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, Todd Bowles was really the team's MVP. He had a masterful game plan, and his defense executed it to perfection. All right, transitioning on here to the trades that I'm going to talk about. The first one went down on January 31st, and it was quarterback Matthew Stafford being traded to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Goff. So here are the full trade details. The Rams send 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick, along with Jared Goff, to the Lions to acquire Matthew Stafford. So my thoughts on this trade: it is a W of a trade for the Rams. They low-key got a top 15 quarterback in the league. Stafford has been in this class throughout. Stafford has been a top 15 quarterback in the league throughout his career. He's been a very underrated quarterback, I think. And I think he's just been on a bad team his whole career. He finally goes to a good team, and Yeah, I think Matthew Stafford going to the Rams makes them contenders, especially with the Rams' formidable defense. On the Lions side of things, they take a step back with this trade, and go into rebuild mode. And Detroit will see what they can get with those 3 draft picks. And then the last trade the second and final trade I want to talk about went down this past Thursday, so a couple days ago. Carson Wentz was traded to the Colts. What a bombshell, man! I was very surprised to hear this. So here is the trade. The Eagles traded Wentz for pennies on the dollar. The Eagles received a 2021 third-round pick and a conditional 2022 second-round pick that could turn into a first-round pick. And according to league sources, Wentz needs to play at least 75% of the Colts' defensive snaps for the 2022 conditional draft pick to convey a first. And if the Colts make the playoffs and Wentz plays at least 75% of the offensive snaps, the draft pick could convey a first rounder as well. And this information comes from an ESPN article. I'll leave it in the description. The Eagles here, they take a big L in this trade. And they also take a $33.8 million dead cap hit, which is the largest in NFL history. That's wild, man. That's wild. They really didn't want Wentz. Just a bad situation overall for the Eagles with Carson Wentz. His value was very low, and they just didn't get much in return. And yeah, that's really it from the Eagles side. It was bad for them. Looking on the Colts side of things, Frank Reich can turn around Wentz's career in Indy. And fun fact, Frank Reich was the Eagles offensive coordinator in 2017 when Wentz was looking like an MVP before he got hurt. And overall, this is a great situation for Carson Wentz. He gets put on a team that just made the playoffs. Their previous quarterback, Phillip Rivers, retired, so he's going to step in immediately and start. And he's got a good offensive line around him, and he's got talent around him. Yeah, good offensive line, some weapons on offense, and a very good defense. So this couldn't be an any more perfect situation for Carson Wentz. He's got to be thrilled to go to the Colts, and the Colts should be glad to have him. I mean, they're playing with house money. The Colts are at this point. I mean, he could still be a really bad quarterback, but I feel like the Colts could make up for it. And even if the Colts are able to help Wentz, even if Wentz is an adequate fit for them and he's an average quarterback, this will be a huge W for them. They're just hoping he isn't quite as bad as he was with the Eagles, and having the great old line should help the Colts a lot. So that about wraps up this episode of the Good Schmidt podcast. I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I will see you all next time. And I am signing out. Peace out, everybody.